I just came up yesterday. I was absolutely floored. I was floored with this group. And you're going to have to tell the story. I mean, where is this out of Atlanta? Where is this group of young people? Where are they from?
The group of young people, they're actually out of Michigan. They're teenagers. They don't
What
say
part of Michigan? Please don't say Mount Detroit.
no, Flint, Michigan.
Oh God, okay. Flint, Michigan.
They're promoting twerk parties and associated with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah, let me help you out. Let me help you out. Damn it, this is what I'm gonna tell you something. So here you have these kids that are gonna have over the Martin Luther King holiday a twerking party, and they've got an image of Dr. King photoshopped with a black turtleneck, gold chain around his neck, his pants sagging, talking about let's twerk. Y'all better you young folk better get real. Let me tell you something. You take the image of Dr. Martin Luther King and you reduce him to a thug, his pants sagging. Here was a man that was immaculately dressed, even when he got arrested. Here was a man, and first of all, it shouldn't be no damn party. That's the first thing. It ought to be it ought to be a day of service. We didn't fight for 20 plus freaking years to get Martin Luther King's birthday and still fighting to keep it so some bunch of little whatever they are in Flint, Michigan can have a twerking party. This is ridiculous. So in essence, you just turned Dr. King into a buffoon. And you know what? You can't blame white folk for this. These are young black people. The party was scheduled for January 18th at the Social Network Banquet and Event Center in Flint, Michigan. But the venue owner, see, what did I just say? Boy, do we move quickly. The venue owner had no idea that the party would be advertised using a manipulated photo of a fallen civil rights leader. When Vic McEwen saw the flyer, he promptly canceled the event. Bingo! Did I tell you? If I were the owner, I'd cancel it. Everybody can do something. The last time Dr. Bernice King and I were together, at least in the same venue, was at the museum. Great exhibit over there, and your presentation was outstanding. I think we had Simeon Booker there that night. So,
We did.
and we had a great time. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here. When I saw, and we put the flyer from Flint, Michigan on our Facebook, and and please just pray for me, Bishop. I just started raising holy hell. I mean, the
Yeah, I'll pray for you. I'll lay hands on you too. How
yeah,
about that?
you just do that. You lay hands on me because I was just outraged. But you know what? God is good, and the owner of the venue, who happens to own a barber shop, he canceled it.
Oh wow.
Now I don't know if you're aware of that.
No,
Oh,
this is
okay.
news.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
He canceled it. We have, and I'll put it on it's on our Facebook right now. But he canceled it. His name is Vic McEwen, and he said he had no idea that the party would be advertised using a manipulated photo of Dr. King. When he saw the flyer, he promptly canceled the event.
Wow.
So your reaction?
Well, I guess on the one hand, I'm glad he canceled it. I think it sends a message to those who would be sponsoring the party. However, I would also say that many times when things happen in our society, there's an outrage, and then there's a response, usually like this, well, we just won't do it or something of that magnitude. But we have to go to the next stage because in my father's nonviolent philosophy, which is spelled without a dash, it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle, and we teach principles and steps. And one of the steps is education. And when I first heard about it, initially I was appalled and sad. But then I realized if my father was here, he would recognize that it's because of ignorance. And we've got to find a way to really connect with the next generation and help them to understand the sacrifices that were made by so many people and what they represented. And not just what they represented, but why they made the sacrifices for their generation and future generations to lead their lives a certain way.
Guess who I got on the line? Is it McEwen? Who's the owner of the? Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Man, we must have talked up on you because let me tell you something. I'm almost in tears based on what you did. First of all, thank you. Let me tell you, it was ironic. About 15 minutes before the news came, they handed me a news story that the owner of the venue in Flint had canceled the contract. 15 minutes before that, I kept saying to my audience, look, we can all do something, but if I were the owner, I'd cancel their contract.
You better believe it, sir.
And guess what? Yeah. Then they handed me the news release, and that's exactly what you did.
Wow, that's how God works, my friend.
It is. And then I just got through interviewing Dr. Bernice King.
Wow.
She hadn't heard about it.
Is that right?
Then I get the next story I get is that you say, I'm going to have a tribute.
Yes, sir. This coming Sunday.
Thank you.
In Michigan.
Wow.
At our venue. Yes, sir.
But talk to me about this and how this all developed in around you.
We've been doing all we can as far as damage control with our business, of course. But this past Friday, I got wind of this through an email, then through a text, and I took a real close look at it. And once I did so, I called the guy in. I said, listen, let's sit down and talk about this. So he came right in. He actually brought the paper flyer with him. I hadn't seen it in person.
Right.
So, he brought the flyer in with him. We sat down, and I told him, listen, what were you thinking, my friend? What is this? He said, well, I'm trying to blow up my party, okay? And I said, well, not like this. You don't have to do this. Kids, they're going to come. Don't worry about it. They're looking for something to do. So,
thank you. If you'd have had Dr. King, standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial, they would come to the party. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. But to hold up West Side and to depict our number one civil rights fallen giant in this way, to take a word from Mrs. King's vocabulary, I was appalled. I really was, my friend. I really was.